I'm here with Anson Mount and Rebecca Romijn to talk about the incredible Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I was a big fan growing up. I started with the reruns of the original series.
So did we.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we started. Did your mother make you watch it?
I didn't need to be made to watch it.
Okay.
I was a massive sci-fi fan. So you grew up on the series?
I can still tell you the time slot.
Yeah?
Sunday night, 6 o'clock on Channel 13.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
we were both introduced to the original series by our moms at the age of 7 or 8, and it was like it sparked conversation about whether or not we're alone in this universe, and I think mothers want their children to think outside the box and foster curiosity and exploration, and that's what Star Trek did. It's a multi-generational experience,
So what was it like taking on these legacy characters then?
Daunting in one way, but also it's amazing to walk into a ready-made fan base, or in this case, it's a ready-made culture. The bar is simultaneously very high and sort of low at the same time, but for completely different reasons. Obviously, you want to get it right, but at the same time, you want to make it, and often have to make it your own thing. In my case, specifically because Pike is just in a different place in his career than he was from the Pike that we remember, and I think gender politics is in a different place now for us.
Gender politics is in a very different place.
I was saying earlier that it was like this crazy sci-fi idea that the first officer would be a woman, and then during season 1 or just after season 1, at one point somebody mentioned that the majority of our cast and crew were female, and I looked around and I was like, I'd not noticed that at all.
Yeah, and I mean, word has it that the original pilot didn't make it partially because people just didn't buy a woman in the position of first officer. And
it was the network, when he was remounting it with Shatner, that he said the network told him it's the alien or the woman. One of them's got to go.
Pick one.
Because those are similar
So
things,
he's like,
obviously.
okay, so
Same
he
thing.
chose to keep Spock, and that's why Majel Barrett Gordon went on to a different role as a nurse.
Right, and Majel Barrett obviously originated the role, but she only had about 13 minutes of screen time in the original pilot, so there wasn't that much to go on. So fleshing out the character has been really fun, and from an acting standpoint, being able to take artistic liberties and expand the character has been amazing.
Yeah, you had a lot more freedom in the way
Yeah.
you could interpret your character. We sort of know what's going to happen to you in the future. What was it like taking on that role where he is aware of what's going to happen to him eventually at the end of his career?
I think it's great, actually, because one of the hardest things to do in television is to end something, whether that's a show or a character arc, and specifically because so many people watching have their own idea about what it should be. And in this case, we know what it is. It's just a matter of how you get there. And I do hope that the show goes long enough that we can actually do the third act.
So you want to be able to see it all the way through to that
Absolutely,
point?
yeah.
We
Yeah.
would like to continue to make
I mean,
this show.
I think
I
that
think the populace
we've already
agrees.
seen that because of the menagerie in the original series. We've already seen Pike's third act, but we haven't seen it completely from Pike's point of view. We saw Shatner's or Kirk's point of view, sort of Spock's point of view, but we never really saw it completely from the point of view of Captain Pike, and I think that would be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, they've given that extra layer of depth by making you aware of that, and I think that was a really smart choice on their part. If you could get the writers to sneak into your dialogue a line from one of the classic Trek series,
Whoa.
what would you want to put in there as an Easter egg?
Energize.
Oh my goodness, I don't know. Yeah.
You'd go for a beam me up Scotty style line.
Yeah.
Or,
Something big, like something.
damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a dot. But then we would have to have a Bones, and we don't have him around yet. Maybe we'll pick up a young ensign.
Young Ensign Bones.
Young Ensign Bones.
Yeah.
Have you got a favourite moment from the show so far?
Yeah, I mean, just because we worked so hard on it is that episode 10 of season 1, where we're essentially remaking an episode from the original series, if you go back and watch, you'll see that we were trying to mimic as much of the blocking and lighting in that original episode as possible. And we literally had a computer off screen that we were watching and I was trying to match Shatner step for step on the bridge. And I'm really proud of the work that we put into that.
Yeah, that's a really lovely thing to include.
And I would say, generally speaking, that our favorite days were the bridge days. When we were on the bridge, it was almost like that was those were our family days. That was when our cast really started to gel, because it was the height of the pandemic and we were in full lockdown. We were socially distancing on set. We weren't allowed to hang out on weekends. We weren't sure we were going to be able to gel as a cast. But every time we were on the bridge, which is the most magical set we've ever seen, it's just spectacular. Those are our longest hours because everybody requires coverage, and it's, almost everybody in the cast is there. Those were our favorite days.
I think that's everybody's dream as a Star Trek fan as well, is to be on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Walking on that set for the first time on the second season of Discovery, I think Anson and Ethan and I, all three, just had an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
It's a 360 set, just about, and including the ceiling, and it's just beautiful. It's like, it's a pinch-me moment every time we walk onto that set.
Thinking about the sets and the props, I wondered if there was something you'd like to sneakily take home. Or have you sneakily taken home?
Almost everybody today
Everyone
has asked
keeps
us the question
asking
if we've
us what we're
stolen
going to
things.
steal.
No, I'm not.
I thought I was being
Everyone's
original there. I'm clearly not.
Everyone's klepto tendencies are
I know.
coming out.
No, our props are very expensive because everything's custom built. So, no, it would cause waves and problems if we tried to steal something.
I mean, like, from a union standpoint, we're not allowed to steal anything. But, when you're on a series, you do tend to look around going, at some point this show will end. What would I like to take home? You sometimes fantasize
So
about.
you have thought about it.
You have thought about it. Not as much as you have.
I'm taking my horse home.
Taking your horse. The saddle.
Season 2, we have a crossover episode. You have Jonathan Frakes directing it. What was it like working with him and getting to work on a crossover with an animated series?
Frakes is one
Pivotal.
of our pivotal. And Frakes is one of our all-time favorite human beings ever.
Yeah.
He's just such an incredible director, such an actor's director, so fun, just brings such an energy to set that's second to none.
And he'd already directed multiple episodes of both shows, so he was the perfect choice to do this one. Besides the fact that he really understands how comedy works.
Right. And he comes up with all sorts of ideas. Try it, try this, try that. And things are so funny. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he'll say, oh, I've got an idea. Try this. And he'll go, never mind, that was a terrible idea. Go back to the way you were doing it. Like, he's really, he's accountable for, but he's so fun it's fun to play.
Yeah.
And then having Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome come over from Lower Decks, who have these great backgrounds in improv, was just inspiring to watch them elevate our material and play with it and never do the same thing twice. And Frakes, it was imperative that Frakes figure out how to massage the two tones of the two different shows to make sure they were cohesive. So it was great having him there overseeing that.
Awesome. That's definitely an episode that I'm looking forward to seeing.
It's a fun one.
I'm happy with how it turned out.
It's a fun one.
Excellent. It's brilliant to see how you guys are continuing the legacy of Star Trek and making these incredible series. So thank you so much for talking to me.
you.
It's been great fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.